it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to introduce to you the new club set from the Stamps of Life, which is called Mushrooms2Stamp, which is this adorable stamp set, and it has all these cute little mushrooms. So you can see it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mushrooms. This little baby mushroom actually has 2 hooked together. And then the sentiments: wishing you mush happiness, it's your birthday, have fungus, I have so much love for you, you make me feel all mushy inside, and you are a fungi. So there's just a closer look at that. And that was released today. And again, that's the club set. So if you're in the stamp club, you're gonna get this stamp set. If you are in the Die Hard club, you're gonna get your stamps and your matching dies. Now, if you happen to not be in the club, maybe you're just in the stamp club and you want to end up purchasing the dies are not going to be available until April 20th. So this set here is available now on the Stamps of Life website. If you are not a club member, you can go check that out. And the dies will be available on the 20th for those of you that are not in the club. Okay, and then just really quick, I just want to show you a couple of the other new products that are being released today. And you have the solids for mushroom. So basically you stamp out your outline, and then if you don't want to color, so these would be for coloring. Okay, so if you have these stamps, you can color these in whatever colors you want. But if you don't like to color, you can use these solid stamps, and you see how that fits perfectly. The solid fits perfectly within this stamp. So you can ink this up with some ink and then stamp your patterns or your solids in these mushrooms. You've got some dots here, and then you have some of the solids. And then there's also another set, which are the sentiments, and these are words for mushrooms. And some of the sentiments: no one makes me smile as much as you. Oh no, oh shiitake, I forgot your birthday, that's what friends are for, don't keep me in the dark, what's new, what the shiitake, you are cute as a button mushroom, gnome, not another birthday, shiitake happens, I have so mushroom in my heart for you. So these 2 sets right here are add-on sets. So your solids for mushrooms and words for mushrooms. So if you want to purchase these, you'll have to head over to the Stamps of Life website and take a look at those. And this one, the solids for mushroom, is on flash sale today, and it'll probably be on for 24 hours. So today's April 1st, so probably through tomorrow. This will be on flash sale, so you get a discount on that one. And then the words are also on flash sale, so same thing, 24 hours. So check those out online if you're interested in these 2. And right now I'm going to go ahead and make a card with our club set, so you can get an idea of how to use your club set when it comes in the mail. And stay tuned on my YouTube channel. Make sure you are a subscriber, because I will be very soon, and probably in the coming week or so, I'll be doing a card with these adorable solids. So you'll want to stay tuned and check that out. It's actually going to be a shadow box. So if you're interested in making shadow boxes, I'm going to be making a card using these mushrooms. So stay tuned for that. So let's get started. So for this card, I'm going to start off by doing some ink blending, and I'm using my Sky ink, and this is actually some Bristol Smooth cardstock. I really like the way that the ink goes onto this cardstock, and I cut this down to 4 1/4 by 5 3/8, and I'm just putting some Sky ink, spritzed it with water, put a paper towel over it to pull some of that ink up, and it gives it a nice look. And this piece is going to be for my Sky. Next, I took another piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm spreading on some Green Apple Stamps of Life ink, and this is going to be for my grass. So I'm just putting some ink on here, and then I spritzed this with water, put some paper towel on it just to pull up some of the ink, and it gives it a nice speckled background. I am using a border die from the Borders die set, and I am going to cut out this Green Apple cardstock that I created. So when that comes out of the die cut machine, I just take off the washi, and it creates this nice border, which actually I have 2 sheets. I have the piece that was the top and piece at the bottom. One of them has a scalloped or a dotted edge and the other is plain. I'm going to take the larger sheet and just run this through my die cut again. This is going to give me multiple sets of borders that I can use. So you can see here, and then I'm going to cut this piece in half because there's a border at the top and a border at the bottom. So I actually have two pieces with the stitch edging and two pieces with the plain edging. I'm going to take one of the pieces that have the plain edging, and I'm just going to use this die cut piece and die cut a piece of the grass that came with the die set, and then just trim that off because it gives that grass a nice look, the same look that the hills will have it in it is what I was going for. So here I'm going to take my hillside borders. I'm just going to mark with my pencil where I want it, and then on the background piece, and then just add some glue and then place that on my cardstock. Just cover up the pencil mark just a little bit. That grass piece is going to be tucked behind that hillside border. So here I'm just placing it where I want it, and then I'm going to pick that up, add some liquid glue. I'm just adding it to the straight bottom piece of that die cut and a little bit to the grass portions of it. Since I wanted the grass to look like it was free flowing, I didn't want to adhere the entire grass to the cardstock, so just dabbed a couple dots on the back of some of the grass pieces, and then just stick that underneath that border. And then here I'm going to add the second border, just adding some liquid glue and then adding it there, making sure that the bottom of that border is even with the bottom edge of the cardstock. And then the ends are hanging off, so I'm just going to flip that over and trim off the excess. Next, I'm taking the largest scalloped rectangle die, cut that out of powdered sugar cardstock. And then I'm going to take the same scalloped rectangle die, which again is the largest one in the set, and I'm also taking a rectangle die, and I'm putting the rectangle die inside of the scalloped rectangle die, and this is going to create a border. Notice I'm adding some washi tape just to connect those. Make sure that your cardstock is, or I should say your dies are even all around. You have the same amount of space on the left, the right, top, bottom, because you don't want your border to end up crooked. So be careful when you take the washi tape off so that you don't tear your paper. And the middle piece you're not going to need. You can set aside for just another project, but all you're going to need is that frame that comes out. And again, these were cut with the powdered sugar cardstock. So next I'm going to take that entire background piece, put some glue on the back, and adhere that to my large scalloped rectangle piece that was die cut. Now I'm ready to add my mushrooms to my background. So I'm going to start out just by placing everything where I want it to go, and that frame border, I just every so often you'll see me put it on top just to make sure everything stays within frame. So here you'll see that I positioned everything. Nothing is actually glued down yet. I do want to point out that the little flowers that you see there, those are from the Garden to Stamp set. So I just stamped those, color them up, die cut them out, and then I thought those would make a cute addition to the card. I'm also going to be adding a stamp though to the top right hand corner, and I decided to choose the It's Your Birthday stamp set because that's the only one that will fit from this stamp set. You can see some of the other ones here are a little bit larger and aren't going to fit in the way that I have my background set up. So I am going to be using the It's Your Birthday, and when you stamp this out you want to make sure that it's stamped in the right position. Make sure your frame is kind of positioned on there and you kind of get an idea for where you want your sentiment to be so that it doesn't accidentally go underneath your frame when you stamp it out. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up that stamp with my acrylic block, and I'm going to ink that up with some licorice ink and stamp that directly onto my background. Now I'm ready to start gluing down all my mushroom pieces, and by the way, my mushrooms were colored with Copic markers, and I will link all of those colors in my blog. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go down to the description box and you'll see a link to my blog where you can see what colors I used. And I also want to point out that when you have positioned all of your mushrooms on your layer, as we did earlier, take a picture with your phone, and that way you can just go back and refer to that picture when you are gluing down all of the pieces so you can remember where you had everything placed. So here just gluing everything down, and I am adding some foam adhesive to this larger pink mushroom. You can see that it's going to stand up a little bit. There are so many layers there that I just thought adding foam would be best to make it stand up rather than trying to glue that down. And then that border piece, after everything is adhered down to the layer, that border, that white
scalloped border will be glued down directly to the top of that piece, just to seal everything and put everything in a nice frame. So just here adding glue, making sure that I get it to all of those little scalloped edges, because I don't want anything to accidentally come up after the fact. So when you add that scalloped border to your base layer, just make sure all of those scallops are lined up perfectly. And because we use the same exact die, there's no reason why they should not line up. I am going to use a guava card base, and I am stamping the Have Bungus sentiment on the inside, and then just adding glue to that entire layer, and we'll be adding that directly to my guava card base. And that guava is an A2 size card, which measures 4¼ by 5½, and this completes this card. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below.